Tonight, a family blames a lack of medical record sharing across provincial borders for their mother's devastating stroke. A path forward for a pipeline to the BC coast. Ottawa signs a deal with Alberta. And high stress for the people taking care of your pets. Burned out vets call for government action.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It's Thursday, November 27th. CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Alexander Silberman. A northern Saskatchewan family is raising the alarm over a life-threatening delay in accessing vital medical records. And that gap in communication between provinces led to devastating consequences. Their 78-year-old mother suffered a stroke. As Scott Larson shows us, her family believes it was entirely preventable.
Frances Geringer has taken blood thinners since having open heart surgery in 2011. She lives in Creighton, Saskatchewan, just across from the Flin Flon, Manitoba border. To regulate her medication, she gets weekly tests at the Flin Flon General Hospital. The test results are then sent to her family doctor in Saskatoon, and that process can take days. Geringer was last tested on October 27th and was waiting for the results. She's unable to check them herself because they were done in Manitoba. On November 4th, she suffered a stroke. Her daughter Kimberly says that delay meant her mom's medication wasn't adjusted.
That blood work is not accessible to my mom through her e-health because it's done out of province. So therefore, those lab techs have to fax it to my mom's doctor in Saskatoon. We know doctors are busy. She's not going to get to it immediately. And 8 days later, my mom had a massive stroke.
Sautner says the delay is not the fault of her mom's doctor or the medical personnel in Flin Flon. She says the problem is a break in the medical system when it comes to the government and the sharing of important information.
Those records belong to my mom. It's her health. It's her records. And that's why I guess our family struggles with the fact that, you know, it shouldn't matter where you get your blood work done. They should have the access to upload the information.
The nonprofit organization Canadian Institute for Health Information says it's working on a new system to improve data sharing between care providers. Last summer, the federal government introduced Bill C-72, which would have allowed patients to access their personal health information and allow health care providers to share it. But it wasn't passed before the last election and has yet to be reintroduced.
We need to get together and we need to be able to share it. And if you can't, if there's no system that will allow you to share that, then I think that the information needs to be provided to the person while they're there. It's a record that belongs to them. It's their health care. And if not, then print a report and hand it to them.
In the meantime, Geringer continues her recovery in Flin Flon. Sautner says it will be a long road for her mom because the left side of her mother's body is still paralyzed and she sleeps for up to 18 hours a day. Scott Larson, CBC News, Saskatoon.
A 16-year-old Prince Albert girl is dead, and the Major Crimes Unit is investigating. PA police say they were called to this house on the 900 block of 12th Street West around 8 o'clock Thursday morning. They were told someone had been shot. Police found the teenage girl with life-threatening injuries, and she died on scene. Officers arrested a 17-year-old boy inside the home. He remains in custody, and the investigation is ongoing. The opposition NDP is calling for a stronger push to combat intimate partner violence. Saskatchewan has the highest rate in the country, and advocates say not enough people know the signs. That's why a Saskatoon mother has created a petition to require education in the workplace. It was presented by the opposition at the legislature. Joan McDonald lost her daughter Abby Spire to intimate partner violence in 2017. McDonald says awareness of the issue still needs to improve.
We did not know what signs to watch for. We did not know that leaving was the most dangerous time. We did not know where to go for help. Like Family Service Saskatoon has a weekly drop-in session every week. Didn't know that. how valuable that would have been to our family to have known that there was help available. So that's what I'm trying to make people aware of, is that we did not know what to do. So I'm sure there's many other people that don't as well.
McDonald's petition asks that every new employee in a Saskatchewan workplace receives training on intimate partner violence. 500 people have signed in support so far. The Regina man accused in a fatal highway shooting near Weyburn is staying behind bars. Chris Fallman is charged with second-degree murder for allegedly killing Tanya Myers while she was traveling in a vehicle on September 12th. The 42-year-old has been in custody since his arrest nearly a month ago. Fallman applied for bail at a hearing last week, but on Wednesday, a judge denied his request. Fallman's next appearance in Weyburn Provincial Court is set for December 9th. Ottawa and Alberta have signed a sweeping new energy deal. It paves the way for a new pipeline to the West Coast. Both sides say it positions Canada as an energy superpower while still working toward net zero emissions by 2050. Kate McKenna has the details from Ottawa.
It's so nice to see you. A relationship reset and a sweeping energy deal between two jurisdictions often at odds, Alberta and Canada.
This is Canada working. This is cooperative federalism. This is Canada building with Alberta, building with Canada, building for today, but building very much for the future.
The Prime Minister and Alberta's Premier signed a new memorandum of understanding. Ottawa pledges support for a new oil pipeline to the Pacific.
At the core of the agreement, of course, is a priority to have a pipeline to Asia. That's going to make Canada stronger.
He is willing to work with me and Alberta's government to accomplish that shared goal. And that, my friends, is something that we have not seen from a Canadian Prime Minister in over a decade.
In exchange, Alberta will commit to raising its industrial carbon price, lowering methane emissions, and supporting carbon capture and storage.
The people of Alberta have had the rug pulled out from underneath them too many times to count over the past 10 years. I also know that a new relationship and a new beginning needs a starting point grounded in good faith.
Ottawa will also suspend or drop some Trudeau-era environmental regulations, like the emissions cap, clean electricity regulations, and if a pipeline goes ahead, Ottawa would adjust the tanker ban off of BC. But it's not clear if that will ever happen.
If there's not a private sector component, there won't be a pipeline.
The MOU says any pipeline would need to be built by a private company with Indigenous co-ownership, and First Nations in British Columbia will need to be consulted, though they don't have the option of outright rejecting a pipeline.
I think there are wins for everybody, but that can't happen if we're not all at the table together.
Well, you'll see it in the agreement. There's no mention of veto. I think that there obviously has to be trilateral discussions with British Columbia to find areas of common ground.
One person unhappy with this plan is former Heritage Minister Stephen Guilbeault. He is a lifelong environmental activist, and this afternoon he resigned from cabinet, citing the rolling back of environmental regulations. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Ottawa.
Saskatoon's budget deliberations are still underway. As of Thursday afternoon, the city's portion of property tax is going up by 6.17% next year. The 108-line item budget is gradually getting looked at with a fine-tooth comb. Some notable decisions so far: the 60-year-old George Ward pool survived the cuts, but the city voted to stop giving more than $100,000 a year to the SHA to run a detox center on Avenue O in Pleasant Hill. Councillors say the process allows the city to assess legacy budget spending that may not be relevant anymore, including the detox center.
I do know that it was a needed, essential, opportunity, or I guess tool that police could use back in the day when they had nothing. So that's not the case anymore, and I think it's time that those dollars go back into city-operated funds. What we're going to look at homeless down and some further budget lines rather than further just putting those dollars there.
Council also agreed to raise fees at indoor ice rinks and golf courses. Pet owners will pay more to license their animals, but a series of community groups and sports organizations will continue to receive grants. And coyote sightings are on the rise in the city of Saskatoon, but experts say there isn't anything to worry about as long as people keep their distance. It isn't unusual to see a coyote in the city this time of year. Wildlife experts say food sources are changing and young coyotes are on their own for the first time. The city has confirmed an uptick in sightings this month, but overall, reports are down, 71 so far this year, compared to more than 200 last year. The city says the steep decline is due to its bylaw banning people from feeding wildlife.
The number one source of conflict with coyotes is that they become accustomed to someone leaving food out. People are stupid enough to try hand feeding them and think then they can pet them and wonder why they get bitten.
The city enacted its ban on feeding wildlife in May in response to reports of people feeding coyotes and reports of aggressive encounters with humans. Well, the Queen City woke up to a frosty morning as temperatures plunged. Here's a look at the chilly scene in Regina's Wascana Park, and we'll have your full weather forecast right after the break. Welcome back. The people who care for your pets say they're being pushed to the edge. Veterinarians are speaking out about the rising cost of their profession. And as Helena Mahalik shows us, it's not just financial.
For more than 20 years, Inaka Gamaj has given professional care to animals. She owns her own vet practice in Saskatoon and says the long days and nights are constant.
We have to work more hours. Sometimes there are emergencies come through the door that we cannot send them away.
Burnout, Gamaj says, is everywhere. The rising price of medicine adds to her stress. The group representing veterinarians says prices are being driven up by supply shortages.
First and foremost is a severe decline in the availability of many classes of medications, such as antibiotics, sedatives, and other animal health products, such as vaccines.
In part, Fisher blames changes to Health Canada's registration process. Those changes make it more difficult to get medicines into Canada. To relieve strain on veterinarians, the National Association is calling on Health Canada to slash red tape and costs to create more access to medicine, create a national testing centre for foreign-trained veterinarians to enter the workforce more quickly, fund and create more mental health supports for veterinary teams. Health Canada told CBC News that drug manufacturers are responsible for where their products go and how much to charge, and are working to reduce Canada-specific requirements in accessing certain medicines. This vet tech says something needs to change, and fast. Sabrina Fagnew says pet owners often take their frustration out on staff for things that are out of her control, and high prices just make it worse.
If this great medication is $40, that's on back order. The next best thing is $80. Then that client is going to be unhappy that it's twice the price.
Fagnew loves her job and doesn't want to leave the profession like so many others. Canada's Competition Bureau says Canadian pet owners should have more choices for where they can fill prescriptions, like at any pharmacy they choose. But the Veterinarian Association says those drugs need to be available in Canada first. Helena Mahalik, CBC News, Saskatoon.
And weather specialist Mickey Wolf is here with a look at the forecast. Mickey, those frosty trees, a lot of frost to scrape on the car window this morning. Really looks like winter is finally here.
It definitely does, Alexander. And you know, I was going to say, folks need to start getting their extension cords out of the basement if you park outside, because those nighttime temperatures are starting to drop. But first, let's take a look at some of our daytime highs we saw across Saskatchewan today. Things are definitely cooling down. Bit of a cooler day for the south, -10 for Moose Jaw, -8 for Regina. And the skies right now, we are seeing a little bit of precipitation coming in from the west tonight. So we're looking at a little bit of snow this evening. Taking a look ahead to the next few days in Saskatchewan, we will see some snow overnight tonight, very likely in the central region as well as the south tomorrow morning. And then that's going to move through the province down to that southeast corner. And then by Saturday, we're going to finally start to see some sunnier skies. We've been having a lot of fog in the province over the past few days, but hopefully by the weekend, we should have some clearer weather. Taking a look at the forecast for snow in the south and central regions, we will see some heavier numbers into the weekend, especially for that southwest corner. So look out for up to 12 centimeters in the southwest as we get into Sunday. In the north, we're going to see a bit more of a gradual snowfall over the next few days, just up to 2 centimeters. And taking a look at our visibility, now we've been seeing quite a bit of fog in the south and central regions over the past few days. That's going to continue overnight tonight and potentially into tomorrow afternoon. So just make sure you take a little extra time for your commutes to watch for that fog. And tomorrow we will see quite a bit of chillier temperatures in the morning. We're going to be seeing pretty frosty wind chill. Things are going to feel a lot colder, down to almost feeling like -20. Now we are going to see those overnight lows nearly hit -20 this weekend in Regina. Saturday night, we'll see -18 as our low. We'll see potentially some snow tomorrow for Regina. And then Tuesday, we'll get up to 1 centimeter. And by Thursday, we might see some heavier snow in the region. Temperatures today are around that normal temperature for this time of year, around that -5 mark for the daytime highs. For Saskatoon, we are seeing the temperatures drop as well this weekend, potentially looking at up to 1 centimeter of snow tomorrow. Then by the time we get to next Thursday, we are going to start to see heavier snow, but luckily we'll have a nice sunny weekend to round things out. So Alexander, it's maybe time to start getting the snow shovels ready, get the extension cords, get the mitts to shovel the car out.
Good reminders, Mickey. Looks like it's just back to the reality of a Saskatchewan winter.
Exactly.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Well, Agribition is showcasing the latest technology and innovation for growing food and raising livestock. But traditional Indigenous culture is also in the spotlight, all part of a push to get more people involved in agriculture.
Buffalo high tanning is definitely extremely important to Indigenous culture. Buffalo itself was, nearly an endangered species 150 years ago. When these buffalo are nearly extinct, what's coming back, of course, is the teachings to how to use the buffalo needs to also come back. It's not something that's been lost, but it's something that's just been, hidden away, for a time now, like today, to be able to come into fruition, to be showcased and to be shown across the world that, like, hey, the buffalo is back, or of course bison, and to be able, now that it's back, teachings are back as well. Because buffalo is a life source. You can get the meat from the buffalo, you can get tools from the buffalo, and of course, most importantly, you can get clothing, shelter from the buffalo, right? Buffalo is basically the all-in-one animal for the prairie Indigenous people.
So if you look back on our shared history in Canada and North America, we have many policies that were put in place that marginalized First Nations from getting into agriculture. If you go back to the treaties, and then you also look at the Indian Act and the pass system, there's many things that hindered advancement in that area. And so we're really working to change. It really is an opportunity to really advance economic empowerment to our communities. We're pretty excited about it. It's very busy.
Before colonization, we had our own form of agriculture as well. Like my people, because I'm from New Brunswick, my people, we had farms all around the river, the Woolastook River, also known as St. John. So it's like, it's not something that's new to us. We've been farming this land, and for a long time before that, we just used different plants and stuff. So that's, local plants, native plants to the area. With food prices going up and stuff, it's important that children know how to work the land, how to grow, and even if it's just with animals as well, we've got to learn how to make your own food, find your own food. I think it's really important.
Another homegrown talent has been signed by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Daniel Weeb was selected in the 8th round of the CFL draft. The Saskatoon-born receiver played with the U of S Huskies for the past 4 years. He helped the team clinch the Hardy Cup championship before heading to the Vanier Cup. Weeb was also named Canada West Football Player of the Year. We'll be right back after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. It's been nearly a month since the Blue Jays World Series run came to an end, and many fans remember Addison Barger's historic Grand Slam in Game 1. And now, you may be able to get your hands on that baseball. but only if you're ready to open up your wallets. Sotheby's is auctioning it off, and it's currently bidding at more than $5,000. There's still time left to put in a bid. The auction closes on December 11th.
He's got 23 home runs on the year. And a swing and a miss. That's doing something. Dylan C strikes out Shohei Ohtani.
The Toronto Blue Jays are hoping to see more of those strikeouts from Dylan Cease. They have reportedly agreed to a deal with the starting pitcher worth $210 million US over 7 years. The 29-year-old right-hander went 8-12 with the San Diego Padres last season, but he has been remarkably reliable, posting at least 32 starts in each of the last 5 seasons. And Mickey Wolf is back with a final look at this chilly weather forecast. Mickey, I understand those temperatures are plunging on the thermometer, and it's going to feel even colder with some of those wind chills.
It's definitely going to feel colder with wind chill, Alexander, and by the time we hit the weekend, things are really going to be down to -20, at least in the central region overnight. But let's take a look at tonight's overnights. A little bit warmer this evening compared to what we've got ahead of us for the next few days in the south and central region. We're looking at some flurries tonight, maybe even a little bit of snow in the central region as we get closer to midnight hours tonight. Lows will be around that -10 to -15 range, and much of the same in the north. We're seeing potentially some flurries again in the Churchill region and more of a cloudier night for the far north. Tomorrow, taking a look at the Churchill and far north regions, we may see some flurries throughout the day, but things are going to be looking like a mix of sun and cloud for the most part for folks in the north. And now the same can't be said for the south and central regions. We're likely going to see quite a bit of snow, at least in the central region, compared to what we've seen so far this fall. And then hopefully things will become a little drier by the time we get to Saturday and Sunday. So Alexander, we can definitely look forward to not quite shoveling season until next week.
And a sunny weekend. Thanks, Mickey.
Thank you.
And that's how things looked in our province on this Thursday. For more news anytime, head on over to our website, cbc.ca/sask. You can also download the CBC News app. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow evening. Have a good night.